Hi, I'm Amy Stockberger with Amy Stockberger Real Estate. The numbers are in, and here is July 2021's real estate market update. The market has seen a slight shift since Memorial Day, which we talked about last month, where we saw our first slowdown really since April 2020. That doesn't mean that the market completely stalled, though. It's just a slight shift, and the market does that. I call the market a she. She ebbs, she flows, she does what she wants. We just price and play within her parameters at that time. I do feel the reason for this shift, though, can be related to the fact that some buyers, after losing out on 5, 10, sometimes 20 multiple offers, decided to take a break and just rent for a short period of time. And that makes sense. They're humans. That's emotional. It's hard to lose out on that. And it makes sense that when we saw the stats for multifamily having a nearly 100% vacancy. So it all makes sense and relates to where we saw that shift. The other cause of the shift could be related to the fact that some buyers just took a step back and are enjoying their summer and did some traveling because they were on hold over the last 18 months due to the virus, that they just weren't traveling. The Sioux Empire did see a 25% decrease in closed sales from July 20 versus July 21. Amy Stockberger Real Estate didn't experience that, though, same trend, because we ended up seeing a closed sale trend up from 53% from last year to this year. So that was exciting. We have seen more houses hit the market and far less multiple offers than we've seen prevalent in our market. And it's a very, very good time for buyers to jump back into the market because there's a lot more ease with it. Again, being able to get into a house still at a great price and a great interest rate. Year-to-date inventory levels are still down 12%, but that's not terrible compared to 2020. And it does feel a lot like our 2020 market right now, which ironically, because 2020 was anything but slow and steady, but it was really kind of a steady and calmer market compared to our 21 April market. A normal seasonality we see when our kiddos get back into that school calendar and families ease back into that is that in a normal year, we usually see a slowdown about a 7 to 14 day period when that happens. And that's just for the adjustment of everybody's schedule. You have to get back in, get everybody running, and then we have that little slowdown. And then it usually gears right back up and gets going past that Labor Day, and our last quarter usually is just on fire. We haven't seen any decrease in our relocation business, though. That has not slowed at all. On average at ASRE, we're onboarding anywhere between 5 and 7 out-of-state buyers per week, and that trend has been the same since 2020, actually. And typically, like we were talking about, we are not moving in just one family into the area. The norm now is that when one family unit comes in, they're usually bringing in their grown siblings who are from that same area. Grandma and grandpa often come in, so the whole family unit is relocating to our beautiful city. So that's awesome. There are still some sellers in our market that don't have their homes listed on MLS, though, some for privacy reasons, some for immunity reasons. So we are still matching a good share of our buyers and sellers in that fashion, and sometimes that's just the best way for both parties. And again, we specialize in connecting in buyers and sellers, and how they want to do it, we do it their way so they can get their goals met in their fashion. July did see pending sales in the Sioux Empire region up 12%. The price range with the largest gain in sales was the 700 to the 800,000 price range, which was fabulous. With that had a 109% increase. The price range that tended to sell the quickest remained the same, which is that 200 to 250 range at 74 days. And we are still seeing multiple offers in that price point, which we will. That's just the easiest price point, the biggest price point, the biggest buyer pool. The price range that tended to sell the slowest remained the same from June, though, which was the 900 and above, which makes sense. Again, that buyer pool is about 1% of our market. We have the average sales price did increase roughly the same in the Sioux Empire from last month at a little over $297,000. And many are still wondering if they're overpaying in today's market. And while we have seen more price improvements than we've seen probably since March of 2020, I don't feel it will equate into a giant reduction in price across the board, though. Our growth pattern is just too big, which is beautiful. And I truly believe it couldn't be a better time to live in the Sioux Empire. It just can't. Even if prices do drop off slightly, the cost of waiting until next year to make that next purchase will cost you a lot more money in the end, though. Our nation in inflation equals an increase in mortgage interest rates. History has proven that over and over, which equals less buying power. So right now is still the best time to get into that real estate market. And also a quick reminder that there's some really great loan options out there right now for first-time home buyers. So not only can you get in with getting your closing costs paid for or wrapped into that loan for assistance on that, but they also have a down payment assistance. So parents, really encourage your kiddos to start building wealth through real estate now, as they can likely get into a home for as little as $200 down. My husband Adam and I bought our first home when I was 21 years old, like yesterday, for about $72,000, and that was at an interest rate of about 5.5%. It was financially, hands down, the best thing that we did as a young couple, and we made some really crummy financial decisions back then, but that was our best financial decision we did. And looking back, wish we had bought sooner, which is why we have a 17-year-old. We have a senior going into his last year of school. Oh, tear. But we've been encouraging him, and he's saving up to buy his first investment property as soon as he financially can, which we're hoping the way his trajectory is before he's 19. And again, that climate is going to help him build wealth as quickly as he can in a market that's appreciating like this. So thanks again for watching, guys. And for more details on the way to sell your house or find the next house and cash in on that historically high prices and the low interest rates, our parents, again, if you want to get that kiddo out of your basement and get them into their first home, reach out. Thanks.